Hey guys, welcome to the Stream Space, or welcome back if you've been here before. We've never really done one of these videos before, but this one I think is gonna help a lot of people out. Um, I work in IT and I actually run a small retro gaming shop. We've plugged it a few times on our page, SV Retro Tech. You can buy stuff on eBay. We do local repair services as well. And we got a PlayStation 5 come in, and while we don't necessarily do the teardown, we're actually going to link a video to our description for this that shows us they do a teardown of this specific model. So we had a PlayStation 5 digital edition come in, customer claiming that the controllers won't stay connected. Every time they try to go to play, they lag, they disconnect, and ultimately don't work. Now, this issue actually is apparently rampant in the PlayStation 5 digitals. So we went through all of our troubleshooting for this, and we were a bit at a loss for what was going on. Like, we rebuilt the PlayStation's cache, we rebuilt its databases. We ran the controller by cable, which actually was fine when we did that. We tried it on the different networks, because apparently it was worse when you ran it on a 2.4 gigahertz network versus a 5 gigahertz network.
Ow, I said now, and then I ran into
when
fire.
it was on the 2.4, we had it running consistently, and it was a little confusing. So we went to go, we had it on a 5G and went to go switch to a 2.4. So I'm sitting on the floor while my co-owner is actually, he's processing something. I don't remember exactly what he was doing. And he hands me the controller so I can switch the networks on the PlayStation while he's finishing something up. And the controller stopped working.
Yeah.
It immediately just, any input, dead. I'm only maybe 6 feet away from the console. So I give it back. I'm like, okay, what the heck? Plug it in and, reconnect the controller. And he did this. And then he handed it back and he did it again. So I'm like, my brain clicks. And I'm like, oh, this sounds like a range issue.
There's still somebody.
And so this video is going to go over how we troubleshot that, tested it, and then we're going to show you there'll probably be a couple times throughout the video where we get it open and we see exactly what it was. And I think because of how these wires are laid out inside that system, it is so easy for them to disconnect. So anyways, here's the testing. Enjoy that. I'll see you guys again after on the outro. Okay, so it is March 7th, 2024. We have this PS5 on our tech bench, and basically client states that whenever their child tries to use it, the controller can't stay connected long enough for them to ever use it. The console has a damaged front port for the USB. The back ports seem to be fine. However, the HDMI is claimed to have been replaced. Otherwise, it seems to be a fully functional system. Essentially what happens is the controller starts lagging out or having issues with input as you use it. So we're doing a test here. So anybody who's ever encountered this issue with the PS5 digitals, where they do have issues with their controller staying connected as it is, this can be a good way to test if you are having range issues with your chip. So we've done a test and we kind of know what we're in for here. But when we were trying to use it, when we stepped too far back, the controller essentially started doing all the things, but when we stayed really close to the system, it actually worked. So that, if you're unsure, sounds like a range issue on the console's Wi-Fi chip / Bluetooth chip, which is, these controllers do use Bluetooth to connect, so that would make perfect sense. This console is also reputable for having problems with the 2.4 Wi-Fi interfering with controller connections. So I think you got a perfect storm here. So we're going to do a little test here. We're going to get the game launched and we're going to pop into a little match of Rocket League. We're currently on a 2.4 gigahertz band. Go ahead. So you're going to see him. You can see the controller. He stand even closer. Okay. So right now we're pretty much at almost, I would call this point blank range. So you can see there's less than a foot between him and the controller. Between the controller and the console. What we're going to do is we're going to get into a game and then while doing something where he's going to start backing up on this pathway here, you'll see there's a bit of a mess. We're still cleaning our shop. And you're going to see that it'll start acting up. You're not in the frame, so don't worry about it. You're good. Stand closer. Like I mean, like we look at how close I had to stand. So now get a good run. So we're gonna get a good baseline going. See, the game is doing as it's told right now. Already has a score. Bunch of monsters. Play to the next goal, and then after that we'll start the test. Yeah. So we're just getting a baseline established here. So he's trying it out. We've had it where we've been on it, and then suddenly it would be it would stop working, right? So it would appear to be fine, and then after about a minute, 2 to 5 minutes, it would stop working entirely. Ooh, that was a good score. Okay, so now he's going to start, after he starts driving, he's going to start backing up. I believe we're currently in an offline game. Mm-hmm. Start backing up. More, keep going. Tell me when it stops listening to you.
No, it's definitely a little bit laggier now. Yep.
So now he's not holding buttons and he's driving on the ceiling. So this is a very common issue with these.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
So
it's so laggy.
He's having issues. It's having a really hard time reading that controller from that distance. And I'm going to just kind of keep you at his feet here. You can see there's maybe only 6 to 10 feet, not even, of distance between the controller and himself. You can see the controller there. This is a modded controller. They have actually taken 2 controllers and spliced them together to mix their color schemes, which we can confirm that that's not part of the problem because we can use this controller in our own system. But at a mere 10 feet, this thing is overheating, not responding. Whatever it's doing, this chip is having problems projecting to this range. So,
I'm not even touching anything. It's just doing it.
Yeah, so he's like getting, it's just doing its own thing when he's at this distance. It's getting such an intermittent input. So I think we're gonna dive into this machine, and when we
I can't turn or anything.
When we get to the point where the machine is actually apart, we'll kind of continue this video, and you can see where we suspect the issue is. As an 11-year IT services veteran, I am quite certain that it's basically the antennas are not connected correctly or not present. If they are not present or not connected, you would absolutely get range issues on the chip. Mitigation for this, I mean, we're not even online right now and it's still doing, and it's being a complete and utter yutz. So we're going to connect it to an actual online game. So you want to drop out of this and try to go to online. So again, you can again start right at the console. And then once you're in an online game, I bet it's going to be even worse when it's actually utilizing the network to do what it's doing.
Oh yeah.
So I will be sending the client a message.
Okay. So this is searching for an online game right now.
Okay, so we'll see if it stay really close to it, and we'll see if it drops. Mm-hmm. So right now we're just getting into an online game because this particular issue is exacerbated when you are using network features. So given that this person uses a digital-only console, they don't have disk to turn back on when, digital is not doing right or the Wi-Fi is misbehaving. So we're going to play. He's going to get another good baseline going. Okay, so it's responsive now.
Mm-hmm. Very responsive.
Okay. So do you get to 2 goals either team, doesn't matter. It's just we want to do a lot of input and it's a very sensitive game in terms of like how you play it. So we want to make sure that when we're testing this that we're being as accurate as possible. Good. We got a score. We're gonna play to the next goal, and then he's gonna start walking away. Now, one way to 100% bypass this issue is to connect the USB cable, but it defeats the purpose of having a wireless controller. If you want to do that, you might as well get a wired one. Whee! There's a little spin there. Oh, maybe they got it. They got it. This game is exciting to watch. Very nice. Oh!
I gave them that one, but whatever.
Okay, so we're at the next goal, and when his car resets, he's gonna take those same steps back again down this path, and we're gonna just see at what point does it start misbehaving. So we'll count your steps here if you don't mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now obviously
I don't have X input.
Well, they might not be allowing you to skip. So we'll wait till it's actually back in game.
No, I actually don't have any control whatsoever.
It's just basically done.
Yeah.
So as you can see,
I'm not touching anything?
He's not touching anything, and his car was doing what it wanted to do. It was taking input that he had given it moments before.
Yep, I'm just not moving anymore. Okay, thank you.
And now
There we go.
so now we have a full disconnect of the controller. Controller even turned off. He reconnected after he hit the button, only after he got close to the device again. We noticed this when I was actually down on the floor over here, and I was sorting, as you can see, these controllers, and there's a bird, and sorting some like buyable versus keeps and stuff like that. And we found that the controller disconnected every time he handed it to me, which was weird because I'm like not electrostatically charged or anything. So, in conclusion, we think that the Wi-Fi adapter is not connected properly. It is a chip on the board. It is soldered on, so you can't replace it unless you're really good with a soldering iron. And even then, maybe that still won't work. And it is basically that the antennas are not clipped into their sockets properly. So the console is not able to distribute their signal from the antenna that is roughly here. I believe it's roughly down here at the bottom corner of the console. So we're going to pop this guy on its side, do some disassembly, and we're going to show you exactly where the chip is and if these things are not connected or what the actual problem is. Okay, as you can see, this picture here is of that wire. You can see the little circular connector that it's supposed to be on, and it's off to the side by about 1/2 inch. So it's not connected. So no wonder this gets an inconsistent range when we have the console set up. If we were right beside it, it worked fine. But the moment you stepped more than a foot or two away, it would stop working. Okay, so we took our little breather there. We did repair work, and I think we got left off here. So we ended up finding, I will show you a picture of it later in the video, but we did end up finding that the white Wi-Fi antenna, like the antenna cable, was actually disconnected from the board. So it was sitting off to the side. So only the black. There's four Wi-Fi cables in total, as you'll see in the picture. The white next to the chip, as you see, is not connected, and so we reconnected that, reassembled, and now we are here playing. So just for good effect, he's been doing a little bit of this, just standing near the system. Now he's gonna start moving backwards. Just for good measure, he's gonna follow that good old path. Excuse the seed. So now, and
oh yeah,
you can see he's been able to be an airborne badass and flip through things and do what he's doing. He's playing the game. He's not doing too bad. I mean, it's a hard game, honestly, from my perspective. That could have been a close one. That could have been a good in. You can see he's not having a dropout. He's not just running off doing whatever his character wants to do. The controller is now with him even 10 feet back still doing its job. So I think this problem, this is a unique situation, but what I can say is that cable on the board for the antenna is not on there very secure. Oh. So it would not take much of an impact to knock these cables off. So as a preventative measure, we actually put electric tape over the cabling so that it can't fall away from its connector. It goes a long way to stop the connector from actually being dislodged in the first place. So kind of a preventative tip. This may or may not be the issue, but if your device is having a huge amount of connectivity issues with your controllers, you can connect to the Wi-Fi, but then as soon as you do, the controller like disconnects or becomes unresponsive. This isn't a software glitch at that point. It sounded like hardware in the first place. And when we actually went inside, we did confirm that. So if you guys are experiencing the same issue or you have some questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, yeah.
Okay, so as you guys saw it there, that is the testing we did. The before and after is insane. It's just such a black and white change. But essentially what is happening here is that white, I believe it is the front white Wi-Fi antenna cable, it was not connected. And so it will cause this issue. And a lot of people are blaming, because we found that did some research on the issue while we were trying to fix this, and we found a lot of people on Reddit having the same exact problem, except they were blaming it on software, hardware, and it's sounding, if this is a kind of a poster child thing for the actual issue, if maybe there's a manufacturing defect for some of the digitals, like a specific lot of them, maybe the machine building them screwed up and didn't actually plug in the Wi-Fi cables for a certain batch. That's what I'm thinking actually happened here. Another thing is if you are not necessarily gentle with it, you could very easily dislodge the cable yourself. So here's your fix. First off, do a rebuild of the database. Clear the cache on the system. You have to power on the PlayStation by holding the power button until it beeps 2 times. Once you get through that second beep, you'll be in essentially safe mode, and you can actually do a couple different maintenance tasks. And you will need a USB cable to plug your controller in because the Bluetooth and such will not be active during this part. Once you're in there and you get those things reset, if you are still seeing this issue, power it off, disconnect everything, give it a little bit of time to cool. If you feel comfortable, look at the video in our link. They'll tell you exactly how to tear this thing down. It is ridiculously easy to get this far in. And then look for that cable. It's like as soon as you get the top the outer plate, after you remove it and you can see the motherboard and such, you'll have to take the fan out and all the screws. Once those are out, take that plate up and you'll see the cable, whether it's connected or not. If it is connected and you're still getting this, that's going to start being a Sony issue. If it's not connected, just connect it, put it all back together and test it. I almost guarantee you will be back up and running. Anyways, that's kind of the video. Thanks for checking it out, guys. You can find us over here on YouTube, Pydera Space 74, or on Twitch, Pydera_74. You can support our channel a couple different ways, which is, of course, starting with liking, following, and subscribing all those pages. We'd love to, see you guys on there and go from there. Next after that, of course, is we have a retro gaming store on eBay called SV Retro Tech. You can actually go and buy retro games on there, and we'll ship them right out to you. You can also, if you happen to be local, Calgary, Alberta, you can just come on over and pick them up. Save yourself the shipping. But in addition to that, you can, it's retro gaming. If you're looking for something specific and we don't have it, send us a message and we'll see if we can find it for you. Next up, of course, is our partnership with Debbie.gg. It is an energy drink company. They do basically a powdered premix that you can buy, mix, add water, instant energy drink, and best part, no jitters, no crash. That was probably my favorite part. Never had a problem with how I felt after I would drink one, or like during the effects of one. Like they were really stable, and I felt more productive actually. They kind of balance you out because there's a lot of vitamins and nutrients in their drinks. So anyways, use creator code Pidera74 and we actually get a 10% cut of that. The last way and the most direct way, of course, is our tip link, which is for Streamlabs, and it's in our YouTube bio. You can, send us something directly. We will make sure that if you do this, you get a shout out. And if you want to have a little bit of input on some content, if there's something you want to see us do, let us know. We'll check it out. We'll do it. Otherwise, have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.
Tried to get the whatever his name is, but I missed